Okay, wait a minute. That was not the right video.
No?
That was the Shaker Report video.
Oh.
The guys before us, they put it on automatic. So as soon as I hit go live, it went to the Shaker Report. This is Comics Covered.
It is not the show. We have our stuff together, man.
it was already on automatic. I just hit go. All right,
this is not a representation of how we handled the company.
Yeah,
just so you know.
Thanks for the booby trap there. I just literally pushed go. It's like I fell into a tiger pit.
That's right. We usually have it much a lot more put together in our own personal lives. So
ish. Anyway, welcome to Comics Covered. I'm John. This is Matt. We are the co-founders of CoverPrice.com, a cool website where you can check the value of all your comics, see what they're worth. We aggregate sales data, blah blah blah.
That's cool.
Check it out. But what we like to do is meet once a week and talk about stuff that we've noticed in the comic community. Use our website to kind of get some data out to you guys. And it's Cinco de Mayo today. Did you know that, Matt?
Well, seeing that it is the 5th of May, yes, I did know.
Now you remember it. I have a margarita waiting for me after this call, or after this meeting. So,
is that a person or a drink?
It's a drink that my wife's making.
Oh, well, that's nice. That's lovely.
Yeah, it's a nice little way to say, hey, good job today.
Hey.
So I'm looking forward to that. Welcome to everyone watching. I see some regulars. I see JD. I see GT Key Comics. What up?
And good job hosting Shakers on Thursday, JB. I did enjoy that you used all the sound bites, because I did drop a whole bunch that I also enjoy using. And there's a bunch that I've been itching to use for the right time, and they just haven't come up yet. So.
I also see Grumpy G. You won something last time, and we've had a nice conversation back and forth via email. It's very nice.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he didn't change it to not so grumpy. That's what we said last time, and it's still funny.
I think. I don't know if it was funny the first time.
Still pretty funny.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, no, thanks. Thank you guys so much for watching and everything. We have another cool interview coming up with the founder of Comic Books for Kids. We are launching that big fundraiser next week with a big giveaway, huge giveaway, actually, probably 15 comics that were sets, giant sets of comics, some of them graded, some of them super rare. So that's happening next week, and it's going to go for a few weeks because we're trying to raise some money for Comic Book for Kids.
Yeah, it's gonna actually be a lot of really hard to find books. I mean, because they were all given to kids in hospitals. It's these packs when these kids get these, they get a whole box of comics and toys and stuff, but then they get their own exclusive comic, for that pack. So it's kind of they're really hard to get to the general population for a reason, because it all goes to the kids. But the foundation does release some out at C2E2 every year. They have a little table. So it's kind of yeah.
I mean, with comics with a print run of 1,000, that literally maybe 100 make it out to not retailers, but just out and about. So it's it's stupid hard to find one in
stupid hard, man.
Stupid hard. I see what you did there, Matt. Thank you.
No, you just said.
I know you were mocking me.
I wasn't a little bit.
You mock me in private, Matt.
No, you do it right here, so everyone sees your shame.
Shame. Fair enough. But yeah, so I mean, today we're going to talk about Free Comic Book Day. There's a lot of cool, I think, history behind it, and I mean, probably everyone here knows about it. But there's a little bit of I mean, there's some fun aspects to it, I think, that we don't know about that we'll talk about. And what I'm liking more about this show is we're starting to highlight stuff like FOC, Free Comic Book Day, stuff in the industry that I think we all kind of know about, and we know it's kind of important, but we never really spend any time really getting into. And one of the comments that I really liked from one of our lovely watchers was kind of like, oh, every time I listen, it's nice to just hear you guys talk about it, because like I didn't know that, and we always just assume everybody knows everything about comics, and we don't obviously know everything about comics, but like
we do.
We kind of do. We've just been doing it for like so long that like it's it just comes out. So I think it's kind of fun to talk about that stuff. And today we're going to talk about Free Comic Book Day.
Yes.
Yes. So why don't we jump into, before we do, the weekly top 10 comes out every Monday. And right before the show, which is tomorrow, we like to just kind of give a little preview and chat about some fun stuff. Matt, do you want me to pull it up, or do you have it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just do a quick run through. So, when Free Comic Book Day, like conventions, you always see whatever event happened on the weekend, you'll usually see a takeover of whatever that event was on the top 10. You can, do you have it up? Do you want to show it?
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah. And it's not that case. There was not one thing made the list, but it's pretty typical for Free Comic Book Day, because the important thing to remember is that, like, I don't know, we should actually look. John, do you know how many comics are printed for Free Comic Book Day?
For this year, or just in general?
Yeah, just in general, or maybe
hundreds. It's usually, when it first started, there were like hundreds of comics that came out, and I think
not hundreds, not millions.
I thought you meant not print run, but like actual, like
the amount of
yeah.
Millions, I mean, like millions. Generally the print runs is what it's saying. Yeah, there's typically, I think, what is it? 2015. It says there was like 5.6 million copies were ordered by retailers.
Jeez, that's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's there's tons. So, like, typically there's a lot of copies still available out there, and people are still picking them up from their shops. I know my local comic shop had their Free Comic Book Day yesterday, so they're like, we'll do it on our own day. I think primarily just to get out of all the hoopla.
It's going to be like a Black Friday. It's going to be like a 3-week long lead time to Free Comic Book Day moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole point of it is it's multi-purpose, right? It's to get new people into your shops, hopefully get new kids, hopefully get new collectors, and give some books into their hands that are usually, a lot of these books are promoting upcoming books. So it's like you read the Free Comic Book Day, and then hopefully you're inspired to pick up the next thing. I know there was a Monsters on the list, and like that. Can you imagine some kid being like, I love this Monsters book, and be like, I want to pick up the first Monsters. Like you kid. They go for $100.
Welcome to comics.
Welcome to comics, where everything is unaffordable.
You like that cover? No.
You like Monsters, eh? Nope,
let me introduce you to Mr. Spears.
Yeah.
But speaking of the top 10, why is Captain Planet on this?
So Mr. Spears again. So they had a signing in Huntsville. I forget where Huntsville's located. You guys can school me on that. I did not go that. Maybe like I didn't take that extra step to look up the state. But let's see. Well, let me go to that book. I know that this was the exclusive they brought for that convention. It was like a foil version of Captain Planet #1 that Dynamite did 10 million covers for. And 10 million is probably an underestimation of how many covers they did. Well, probably, let's see exactly how many they did. 9, 10, 11 versions of this cover. So this was the gold version, foil limited to 422, and it's selling for $57, which is a good amount. I mean, we've tracked 113 sales, so a quarter of the people who got their books immediately sold their books. So it's
JF&D. I like the comments. JD totally just fact checked. He's like Alabama, and it's where Mark Spears is from. And
oh, okay, all right. Well, there you go.
All right, we'll just give over the show. Like, let's just bring JD on moving forward.
Right. If it's not California, it doesn't exist, right?
Yeah, it's
I think it goes the other way for most people. So
yeah. So that's crazy. I mean, that's awesome. First of all, it's cool to see a Captain Planet with a beard. I thought that was neat. But
I can't this goes back to the early days of like YouTube, but do you remember the one with the
Don
Funny
Cheadle.
or Die with Don Cheadle where he
Yeah.
turns everyone into trees? Oh my god.
I was literally just watching that like 2 days ago with somebody.
Like that could be a whole movie and I would watch it. Like, easily. Like I come back to it like at least once a year. I come back to it.
It gets so dark after there's about like 5 episodes of it. After the third one, I was watching it with my wife and a friend and who hadn't seen it and they weren't really into comics. And after the third one, I'm like, okay, it's getting kind of dark.
I mean, it's fun. I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, this is obviously a more serious take, of course, which is also fun, maybe a little, but not as fun. But still, I mean, Mark Spears is on fire. I can't believe the line he had at Huntsville it was crazy. It was like around, like he had the longest line. And I think Kevin Eastman was there. So it's like,
Nicest guy in comics, Kevin Eastman.
That's what is that? What Britt says?
Yeah, that's what Britt from CGC always says. Nicest guy in comics. And he is. He's such a nice dude if you ever talk to him. I stood behind him in a line for something and we were chatting and yeah, very kind.
I mean, he should have. I mean, he's gone through a lot of life. Can you imagine just starting a comic as a joke, as just like a joke homage book to Frank Miller's Daredevil?
Yeah,
and then it just becoming like this massive brand that it is.
And the fallout between the friendship and them going in different directions, and then the brand just keep going. Imagine seeing your creation as a Saturday morning cartoon, as a movie, referenced, and it's such a random Teenage Mutant Ninja. It's like it always
you
blows
sing the whole theme song. If you're gonna like hum even a little bit, you do the full thing.
I never got turtles in a half shell though.
Well, yeah, they are in a full shell. Yeah, that's a good point.
You're not eating them. I mean, you're just trying to rhyme, put half shell into a song. What's that about? Half
shell. Yeah. Huh. I never thought about that.
That's why we're here, Matt. That's why we're here. To reminisce about cartoons. So run through the top 10. What's number one? I don't even know what that is.
So if you read about it, I mean, it was interesting. I was watching about this. Do you know who Gary Vee is? We met him. Met him at New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
Gary Vee, he was actually an early investor in Facebook and Uber, and so he made millions off of that. But he's one of these guys who's this he touted entrepreneur who's made himself, and he's an expert at social media, at marketing, at kind of do what you want. He tells people straight up, get out there. If you don't know what you want to do, get out there, go to garage sales, buy salt shaker. It's like he always goes into these things. Look up on how much salt shakers sell on eBay. Flip those. He goes into very grassroots. Don't sit around on your butt and just get to work. Yo, Izzy, what's going on? So he created this brand VeeFriends, which was an NFT brand that they're kind of doing this multimedia thing around, and each of the characters, it's 258 different characters they created, and it's all about creating these empathetic characters. They're all sharing and kind of goodwill based characters. And they announced this comic book. It was they did a cover with J. Scott Campbell and I forget exactly. We wrote it up today, but they did this package for those who signed up for this book, which was limited to. Actually, if you go to the link before, J. Scott Campbell did the book before it.
Oh, one before it, yeah.
Issue. So they did issue number 1 was only available. They had this J. Scott Campbell cover, limited to 555 copies. I was talking to Campbell.
There's Gary Vee right there. That's how he looks.
Yeah, that's Gary at the top. I was talking to Gary or J. Scott Campbell's team, and I was like, hey, did you guys get these? And they're like, no, we didn't. They didn't even give us one comp copy because this is their entry. They're not used to comics, so like they don't know the
etiquette.
The etiquette of giving your artist free.
By the way, when we met Gary V, he was very nice. We just wanted to say hi and chat with him about stuff. And he looks you in the eye, he holds your hand, he makes a connection.
Really, yeah, that's how you do. Like, I mean, you can tell why he's successful because everything that he does feels genuine. And he will, like, you can be whoever, right? And he will, he doesn't know who everyone is, but he'll make a point to sit and listen to you, say thank you, shake your hand, look you in the eye. Like it you can tell why he's gotten as far as he's gotten.
Like he looked into my soul. It made me uncomfortable. I felt stuff.
I mean, some people just ooze charisma. Not us, not these guys,
not these guys, not these guys out here.
Not us. What was it?
It's more of an awkward feeling that we give, but whatever.
That's right. we get the cops get called on us when we stare at you too long.
Yeah, Matt has a staring problem. I have to remind him to blink.
That's right.
So that's cool. I didn't know Campbell did a cover here. That's fun.
Well, what was interesting about it is that so these are limited to 555 copies. You got them in a box set. For like if you go back to the one we were just looking at, sorry. Scroll down at the bottom that says, what was it? The gift goat bundle. So if you signed up for one of their goats, I guess, which is like their early contributors, the people who were paying into this early on, you got this box set. These box sets are selling for $3,000 to $5,000 in the aftermarket right now. So like, yeah, the recent sale $3,000.
$4,000 was the
highest. The highest was $4,600. Wow. It's crazy. And we've only tracked 6 because everyone seems to be holding on to them. So they did this issue 2 that they were they released. This was Saturday, and they did a whole stream on Whatnot where they were going to release 1,000 of them at $19.99 for each of the issue 2. They're all in blind packs. They're mini comics. It's only one book in there. It's not like a multi-pack. But it's just a blind pack where you get all the books that are up there are the various covers that you can get that are in there. So we tracked all. Like, what was interesting is that these were $19.99. They sold out in 19 seconds, which is funny though at the same time. But they sold out quickly. And so the next day they released the other 2,000 on their website, sold out for. I feel like I'm promoting this thing, but I'm just.
I mean, it's actually kind of fascinating because how much of comics is story? How much of it is marketing? How much of it is like prestige?
I mean, this was all brand. It's Gary V. Because like we were saying, like this. I mean, I didn't delve into it too much to know how popular the NFTs are, or if people are really into these characters, or if they're just buying into Gary V. But I noticed that on the stream because he kept asking questions. Who's here? Who's never bought a comic book before? Who's never bought anything like? And there were a lot of people. I've never bought a comic book before. So a lot of people in the stream had never purchased a comic book before, which was fascinating. But they were selling this out. They sold it out on the shop. Like they released the other 2,000 on their VFriend site, and it sold out instantly the next day. 3,000 of these packs, and they were trending for. I mean, you could go to eBay and people are asking for $1,000 for some of these, but the current FMV is $64, and there's going to be an onslaught of them when people get them in hand, of course.
So wait, how much is he selling the packs for?
They were $19.99.
Okay,
but they were instantly selling for, like, the first one hit and it was like $150, and then they kind of the more that popped up, there's I think over 200 available currently. It's just what's interesting about this book is that they released it in these very non-typical ways on their own site, not a Kickstarter, on their own site through Whatnot. And then usually we don't see a lot of trickle over from Whatnot sales. Like if there's a Whatnot exclusive, they usually stay in that ecosystem. We do see the Whatnot packs cross over to eBay. People will flip them onto eBay. But these were like a flood over to eBay, like instant. As soon as people got confirmed that they got a copy, people were flipping them instantly.
So a couple questions. Izzy's wondering where his fan base comes from, and then Comic Cutioner is like, how many followers does he have? He's millions of followers.
Yeah, he's. I mean, I'm surprised you haven't been peppered with his social media, because he's like everywhere. Like, it feels like it, at least. Let me see what I can.
And he gives like I think he gives talks. I first heard about him a while ago, just from a marketing standpoint, and he's just one of the guys in marketing, and he's talking about like email funnels and all that kind of stuff. But he does like workshops. He does, and he's totally like Tony Robbins,
all over the place. Like, what isn't he doing? Is the question.
I mean, he probably.
Okay, so here you go. Instagram, 11 million followers. LinkedIn, 5.43 million followers. Twitter, 3 million followers. YouTube, 3 million followers.
How can you not be successful when you have that much like attention on every single thing you're doing? I mean, take 1% of that, and you're going to sell out for 3,000 comics. Of course, like no problem.
No, 3. Yeah, I mean it's fascinating to me. I was surprised that it made the top 10, because, and not only the top 10, but a number 1. But of course it did, because it sold more than any of the other books in the aftermarket that we tracked. And it went from $20 to $150 instantly, but then it of course settled back down to $63.
So yeah, again, I go back to, is that good for the community? Is it bad for the community? Is it just showing that marketing just moves things? I mean,
there's a couple things here. Not a lot of people have that power of influence to move product in that capacity, especially to a non-comic book community. I mean, celebrities do, and I would classify him as a celebrity. Mm-hmm. He also has a special ecosystem of telling people, hey, listen to me, what I'm saying to you will change your life, is kind of like how he does. Like, the things that I'm trying to sell to you are kind of going to change. Like, he promotes the things that he does in like a very like, hey, this is an amazing product. He's an excellent salesman. So like, even on the stream, they were selling out, like they were doing signings and selling those for $1,000 a piece. I mean, it was crazy to watch the stream. Yeah. I mean, I mean, the guy is, and then he was thanking all the team around him, thanking it. He was like, everything he was saying was hyping up the product and hyping up the brand and hyping and saying all the things that they were doing. I mean, it was,
dude. So they're saying the audience is saying that in chat that he was on Joe Rogan Experience like 8 years ago.
Oh, sure.
Dude, like I was listening to something about hydrogen water, and which is like a supplement that you take for whatever. It was on Joe Rogan, and I went to the store, sold out everywhere, because if they talk about it on that podcast, it's gone. And I was like, I was so mad, because I'm like, I really want to do this. I couldn't get it anywhere because of Joe Rogan.
I mean, it's so a lot of it's influence, and having influence over a market like that can really be. It's why we have to always be careful of how we talk about a book. I don't know how influential we are, but if you talk about a book and tell people go buy this book, typically you'll have a large amount of your following that will go do that.
And I will say, we never say go buy this book, because our whole thing at Cover Price, honestly, is like, we don't know. We just tell you what's cool. And
we know. but we know.
But we know. Well, we should jump into the free comic book day stuff, because this is actually, it's so funny. We always do this. We always have a topic, and then we
go off. It was very interesting, and the rest of the books on there are definitely pin up. I can't ever say it. Pin up op. I can't do it. Pin up apocalypse. Pin up apocalypse.
It's like a Greek person's last name.
I can't do it. Where's the
Pin apocalypse? Pin apocalypse.
There you go. Okay. Though that made the list, those GI Joe foils, they spell out GI Joe, so every week there's a new one that makes the list.
We're on E, so we're on Joe.
We're pretty close. I think so. Stillwater was option, so that book was a huge seller in the aftermarket. The Ultimate Spider-Man right there. Not only is it a cool cover, but it's the first appearance of Richard Parker as Spider-Man. I think.
Oh, whoa! Okay.
And then obviously a lot of Thunderbolt, and White Widow traction thanks to New Avengers. I think we could call it New Avengers, right?
Yeah. By the way, I haven't seen it. Did you go see it?
I did.
Just real quick, thumbs up, thumbs down, worth it?
I really enjoyed it.
Oh, okay. I'll go see it.
Yeah. It's not like it's not going to change your life, but it was interesting how they could take characters that everyone hated, right? Like as an audience, you're like, I don't like these characters except for
Yolanda or whatever.
No, what's her name? Not Yolanda.
No,
what?
The Black Widow.
White Widow.
White Widow. I mean,
although she black. What's her name?
Yelena something, isn't it?
We should know this. I just watched it. Elena. Elena.
Hello. Elena. What are you giving me?
Elena. She's the Black Widow now. So was White
I
Widow.
said Black Widow.
Yeah, but you said Yolanda.
I said Yelena. I said I said something in between.
So, you were still wrong.
I did not say Yolanda though.
You did. Well, we'll have to play it back.
All right.
But anyways, you hated all these characters, and I will say that the movie leans into that, and so by the end of the film, you end up caring for these characters, which is like, it's a very, it's actually, they handled it, and they lean into it, like even more so, especially when you go through the end credits. But it's another name that doesn't roll. Yeah, but it was very well done. I would say it was actually the tightest project that Marvel's done in quite a while.
Oh, good.
It is absolutely worth seeing, and it does feel important to where Marvel proceeds from here on. So there are. That's all I can say. And then I don't even say it's spoilers, but all the marketing has now changed. The title of the film is no longer Thunderbolts. So
it's now New Avengers, right?
It's now New Avengers. So that does play into the film. So that's something that happened that that's everywhere. So
that's cool. I mean, I love I love it when they do a movie right, or they do characters right, and it sounds, I haven't seen it.
And the aftermarket promotion of them pivoting the day after today to like change all the marketing. It's that, like someone said, it's a solid 8, and it is a solid 8. Like it's a solid 8 film.
I like. Oh, that's true. They always had Thunderbolts with an asterisk next to it, so they're like, okay, yeah. Interesting.
So it's definitely like I appreciate it. The only thing people are like, Taskmaster, WTF was.
Yeah, I was, when I saw her in the preview, I was kind of like, okay.
I won't do any spoilers with
that.
But,
it was good. So Matt, I want to take you down a little memory lane. Back in,
I don't want to go.
2001. What do you think happened in 2001?
Well, 2001, we were a year into the Ultimate line. We were a year out of CGC being created. We were 6 years out of the formation of eBay, and we were 7 years out of Marvel bankruptcy.
Oh, well, did you know it was also when Free Comic Book Day first originated? Over at Flying Colors, a guy named Joe Field sent out created like an article in 2001 and said, like, we should give away free comics. Like, it'll be good for the community. We bring kids into the shop. And fun fact, this is where my sister lives. This is her local comic shop with her husband and her.
I don't know if I would call that a fun fact.
What would you call it, Matt? A minuscule fact?
It's information.
It's a little fun. I mean, what are the chances that my sister lives, like, that's their local comic shop, is Flying Colors, and I've been there.
Is it fun though?
Okay, it's a fact, Matt.
Right, there you go.
But and so yeah, back in 2001, Flying Colors did this, and then the following year in 2002 was the official start of Free Comic Book Day, and like Matt said earlier, millions of comics are printed and given away, like over 2 million, if not more, across and distributed across the 2,000 to 3,000 comic book shops worldwide. And it's a success. I mean, every year you see lines outside your comic shop for Free Comic Book Day. And
actually, my sister called me yesterday. I was going into the Thunderbolt. She was like, hey, we're at Verizon, and next door there's this huge line out of the comic book shop. like, do you know that there's something going on here? You should come and check this out. Like, there's something going on here. I was like, yes, it's free comic day. She's like, what's free comic? You can get free comic books. I don't know how else like going to like any extra detail. She's like, well, the lines are really long. I'm like, yes, they're giving away free comics. Like,
I love it when family members reach out and they're like, hey, did you know this thing about comics? You're like, yes, yes, I know.
Yes, thank you. I mean, I appreciate looking out, but I was like, I gotta go. Like,
but yeah, and so I mean, like, so the question is like, how do you like? What are free comic book days like? What's it even about? Why should you even care about free comic book days from a collector and speculator standpoint? And I'll leave it to you, Matt, to explain that.
Well, I mean, it's you know, there's a lot of different perspectives. Like, if you're going in as a speculator, there is speculative. There is some speculation where some of these books can be long-term smart buys, right? But the main point of it is to, I mean, one, it promote, like how it's used today is to promote upcoming books, get new readers into getting one of these books for free. What's the harm in just picking it up for free, reading it, and hopefully getting interested in what's going to happen, get people to come back to the shops, order those books, and start picking it up. At the very least, just to get people to walk through the doors for the first time, have maybe their kids pick up a comic book for the first time and find something that they're interested in. Hopefully, it gets their attention, turns them into fans. And then the side what shops want from you is to get you in there and pick up the free books and then buy other stuff. Yeah. So hopefully you're in there, and then a lot of them will have like 50% off back issues, 50% off wall issues. A lot of the people that I know go to free comic book specifically waiting to get the books that they've been watching for like months and be able to get a really good deal on the books on the wall that they've been itching for.
That's a really good point. I never even thought of that, because a lot of times stores will do signings, they'll do big event stuff.
Anything to get you there and get you, like David Mack was signing at the comic book which is my local comic shop. Yeah, so David Mack was down here, and so he's a big pull. I mean, that's a really good.
Don't we always run into him on flights and stuff? Was that David Mack?
He's a cool guy. We always run into him and his wife constantly.
Yeah, we really do. He's like a buff guy too. He works out, dude.
And it shows.
No, but it's so funny. Yeah, we run into him on flights all the time, like in airports, and we run into him at because we're all going to cons, and he's coming from like LA area.
Yep.
So to the question of like, are free comic book day comics ever worth anything? I present Exhibit A. Do you guys remember Umbrella Academy?
I have a whole bunch of these exhibits. I was going to do this for the end.
I was just going to get a little excited here. Like, yeah, this at one point got up to $540 when the Netflix series launched, and I think it outperformed, because this is more rare. I think it outperformed the actual like series issue 1, right?
It did until 2 weeks after the show premiered. Then if there's a variant, I think there was a Jim Lee variant that really overtook it for the first issue. Because typically, another thing to remember is that a lot of these brands, a lot of these shows, a lot of the films, whatever, when it becomes popular, people will go looking for the comic, and all they do is just search Umbrella Academy 1, right? They're not looking for, they don't know where to find, they don't know that the first appearance is in this free comic day. Right. So that's why there was a big surge in the first issue for the core series, and why this had a harder time to take off, why I didn't catch up for the rest of them. It's because the mass market doesn't know that this was where you got to go for the first appearance.
Right. So, and free comic book day, for those who are uninitiated, like you always see a big free comic book day tag on it. Typically, there's no barcode or any type of.
Well, it's stamped. That's usually meant for the shops to put their stamp on there. So, like you know what the shop is that you got, and you can come back to it. It has their phone number, so hopefully you can call. But like us collectors, like we hate that stamp.
Yeah, don't stamp them.
And a lot of shops have learned not to stamp them. So
let me show you this real quick. So Cover Price, as you guys know, we create lists, and we are getting much better at it. We're doing a lot of convention lists and stuff like that. With the database update that we're launching in a couple months, it's going to be like list palooza for a lot of stuff once we get that all organized. But
Listocalypse.
I was going to try to do that, but yeah, for Listocalypse. But yeah, so you can go to it's on the homepage. It's in the articles.
It's coming off the homepage tonight.
Coming off the homepage today. But if you go, Free Comic Book Day. Anyway, you can see them all, and you can start seeing what's trending and whatnot. You can sort by everything. You can get a big preview view of it.
Yeah, and we were talking about this today with our team. I was like, so when we were doing the top 10, I was like, is there anything taken off? But before we rolled the numbers, because nothing popped up, I was like, is there anything that's taken off? The Mark Spears Monsters book. He'll see. I guess I could share my screen real quick here. Let
me just show how to. So you can just type in Monsters or Mark Spears or.
Sure.
So if you type in Monster and it pops up, there you go.
So this has sold a lot of copies. Of course, there's so many Spears fans that these have been moving. There's been some sales that hit like $9. Most of them are around $5, which again is good for a free book. And some of the conversation we were having today, like what books are there any front runners yet? And it's a little hard to tell because there's still so many copies out there at shops that people still don't have to turn to the aftermarket for these books. Some people have stockpiles of these, so it's not impossible to find. Be Kind Rewind, that's one.
Yeah, that's funny.
But there was like, what were some of the other ones I had on here? Let me go to the end of my list.
Do you want me to look them up, or do you just want to take over?
Well, I was going to show a bunch of things here, but let me.
Oh, I didn't realize we did that. That's kind of cool. We put the ratings on it as well.
Yeah, so I guess I can share my screen. Yeah, because I'll jump into the rest. Here we go.
Cool, go for
it. That's the sound when you share a screen.
Yeah, you do it very well.
Oh, I forgot to take off of that. All right, hold on. Let me go. Let me stop that. Sorry, I forgot.
You made the sound, and then you shared your screen. What happened?
Yeah, and this is good. This is good video too.
While you're doing that, I'm going to show something real quick.
Yeah.
So just as a heads up, we have.
Well, I guess it wasn't a very extensive list. You can just look up Tamagotchi if you want to try to spell Tamagotchi.
I just wanted to show this real quick. If you go to the content section on the site, this is kind of cool. So Skybound's doing and Big Clutch is doing a Battle Beast blind bag, and in it you could possibly pull Invincible #1. But they're doing a lot of cool stuff. And if you follow that link and click and save the eBay Live page or whatever, I think the event's going to be on the 14th. Yeah, May 14th. Join it. It's kind of cool. I think it's fun. This is the kind of stuff. Yes, like this is a sponsored thing, but they didn't pay for any sponsorship on our show. I just think it's cool.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. So a lot of people hate the blind bags. A lot of people love the blind bags. You can say, people. The reason get used to them because they're popping. They're coming.
Yeah.
What I appreciate, like that Skybound's able to do, because Image is independent. They're able to do 1,000 of these versus I think what Marvel does 3,000 of them, right? So it's a little harder for I guess you want the big hits, right? Because it's hard to get the regular books don't hit as hard, don't really stay sticky. But hopefully this presents a lot of good finds in it. Yeah. But I mean, they're coming. This is gambling. It's gambling. If you love to gamble, it hits that spot. If you're used to the card market, this is an extension.
Yeah, I mean, this one though, from a collecting standpoint too. I mean, there's some unique Battle Beast covers and stuff.
Oh, you have the chance to get some super rare stuff.
Yeah, I mean, but not even that. I mean, just it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to get. But I agree, like tread cautiously and all that. But just wanted to announce it because it's
well,
fun.
not necessarily tread cautiously. It's like if you enjoy the gamble, go for it. Like, it just always sucks when you don't get something, but it's amazing when it's like, that's gambling, right?
I got, where did I get? It's not on the wall behind me, but I had a Remark Invincible from Ryan Otley.
Right to your right, your left shoulder here. Yeah,
that's just his. That's one of the things I got a signed Ryan Otley.
Yeah, you got a signed one and a Remark one,
and I got a Remark, and Matt was so jealous.
Well, this was a booth that offered. There was a Frank Cho box, a Ryan Otley box, and I forget who the other one was. But you can buy this box for, I think, $400, and it was full of exclusive covers, signed covers, remarked covers, and then really rare covers, and then original art, like it was signed, like drawn stuff from Frank Cho and Ryan Otley, and it was like the odds were pretty decent. I got crap. The whole box was like, how what a God box is.
Yeah.
So a God box is you get nothing but hits. Like everything is a hit, right? I got the Devil's box.
I never got something so cool, and I was just like, oh wow, that's a good.
Derek says, yeah, I did the Cho box, and I got, hey, what's up, Mama? Mama. I got junk, and so it was, and it felt terrible about it because you blew $400. That's a good chunk of money that could have been.
You want something for $400? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, maybe it was $250. I can't. And maybe $400 sounds like a lot.
That feels like it was $400.
It felt terrible. But but you won't feel terrible with clutch. No, the odds are much better. 1,000 is pretty.
Timothy wanted to know what the blind bags are going for. I don't know. I think the way they're doing it is.
Click on the ad.
Well, it didn't say. It just said.
It takes you to the stream where they'll release it. Okay.
Yeah, so they're going to do a stream. I think Big Clutch is going to launch it at first, and I think there's only about 1,000 of them. Yeah, 1,000, limited to 1,000, and then it's going to be distributed to other people who are going to get some of the bags. So some of the others.
And then the storms are coming. Like this is going to be a thing in a big way across all the publishers.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just fun.
But it is. I kind of like I appreciate the gamble. I like that it's not as easy to, that if you're in line for a book and let's say like someone wants the rare stuff, it doesn't sell out at the beginning of the line. You all kind of have a shot to like hopefully get a shot at whatever the big books are. Vault has what's the someone said it earlier. What's the Big Rig? Post Malone's book with Vault. They're providing these blind packs to retailers that cost retailers like $60 or something, $50 or something, and they're signed Post Malone. There's a 1-of-1 Peach Momoko cover that will be in there too.
What?
Like a lot of crazy rare stuff. So do
you buy lottery tickets, Matt?
Rarely. Not. I would buy scratchers around the holidays when you get like some like someone gives you like $20, like cash, like usually a relative. I'll then buy a scratcher with that, like $20.
I like doing Super Lotto when it gets to like 100 million or something.
Because like just 10 million is not enough for you.
Not enough. Why waste my time?
Why?
No, but it's the dream. You buy the dream, and you're like, what would I do? And oh man, there's a lot of stuff I do. But it's I think that's what it is. It's just kind of like for me, the blind bag and stuff like that. It's just buying the dream.
I love gambling, and it's kind of like if I can buy it for like $20, so that like the Gary Vee stuff is a perfect example. It was $20, and then if you signed up for the like they were doing the whatnot thing, if you signed up, they had a promotion code where you get $15 free. So if it was your first time there, the pack was $5, so like it's for a lot of people who were showing up for the first time, it was only $5 for them to buy one of these because shipping was also free. So it was an easy buy for people there, but they sold out really fast and they allotted them for like I think 3 per person, but they said most people ended up only doing one because the time it took to do the drop down menu, it like people got locked out because they got greedy. Because they took that extra second to change the allotment. They lost out and didn't get any. So the people that weren't greedy ended up getting them, which was kind of funny.
That is funny. I totally digressed the conversation, man. I'm so sorry. Want to go back to your free comic book day stuff?
Yeah, man, we're almost out of time too.
I know this one flew by, but these are the fun conversations. I think they just are random.
To kind of all right. Let me go back. I'll reshare my screen. That's the sound to go back to share the screen.
And while Matt's doing that, I'm not going to derail. Type in hashtag shirt if you want to be entered into the giveaway to win a Cover Price shirt.
Make sure you leave the R in there.
Oh, I did. Okay.
No, you have it.
Oh, thank goodness.
But now we're going to get a lot of hashtag without the R.
You won't win the shirt then.
You'll get something else.
You'll get something else. Yeah, we'll send you something else. A box.
Here you put it. That's what you get.
That's what you wanted. Give them what they want.
This was one of the ones that people, I know Lefteros talked about it. Tamagotchi. He was like, he messaged, he was like, has there ever been a Tamagotchi comic? I was like, should there be? He's like, people love Tamagotchi. I'm like, but he's like, it's huge. I'm like, I don't know if people have been clamoring for a comic, but here you go. There's a Tamagotchi comic. So this has been doing so far. This is one of the front runners. Okay, here you go. You can still get it for $5, but for the most part, it seems to be doing decently. Just to kind of touch back what you're talking about, the history, what I thought was interesting is back in 2002, these were the first free comic book days ever released. So Ultimate Spider-Man, because Spider-Man 1 was being released, a lot of what got Marvel on board was like, hey, let's promote the film and we'll re-release Ultimate Spider-Man, which the Ultimate line was buzzing by this point. But 2 years after its release, like the Ultimate line was the hottest thing in comics. So you had Ultimate Spider-Man. These were the first comics. There was I think 7 of them. So Ultimate Spider-Man #1, Queen and Country with a nice Tim Sale cover there.
That's cool.
That was Queen and Country #1. Tomb Raider #1. Like, this is kind of like, again, these books are really hard to find in like good condition. So 9.8s we don't see any 9.8s, but when you get a 9.8 of these, they typically go for about 150 is what I've seen. I haven't seen one for this one. There was this Keen Spotlight in 2002. Leave It to Chance. I'm sure you've come across these Leave It to Chance books in the back issue bins every now and then. So this is a goodbye. Star Wars Tales, Jedi's Weapon. So this was one of the first free comic book day books. And then you have Stray Bullets 2, and on the backside was Matrix. Was a Matrix comic, which reprinted, I think, some of the earlier stories that they had. So those were the first. How many were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So there were only 7 books released in 2002, and so these were the first 7. And I think they said there was 2 million printed amongst these 7. I'm sure there was tons of these, but this is a pretty good buy. Like, I bet. Let's see, 9.8 sold for $85 in 2002 or 2022. I bet. I mean, if you buy it for $1 and they're in good condition, that's a nice flip into your thing. But this is the one that I'd probably seek out. This would be a good buy.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider. So those were the first, and we're actually going to make these key books. Our team has just didn't get the chance to get to it today. But we'll make these key as first free comic book day books. So that's kind of fun if you're on the speculative side of things as a key first. And then I know we're running out of time, but here were some of like the highlights of books that tend to go for something. Jeez. Like this one. I mean, manga's huge right now. a manga, the spillover when everyone's looking for the first appearance of these brands in comic book form. This is not only the first appearance of One Punch Man, but it's also the first appearance of My Hero Academia on the backside in a standard comic book. So these books typically go for about $30 near mint, 200 in a 9.8, but it's hit as high as 2,500 in a 9.9. Some other ones you show the first appearance of Umbrella Academy. This is the first appearance of General Grievous. So if you're General Grievous, and also the first cover appearance of Barris Ophi. But if you're a General Grievous fan, this is a pretty key book. And then we have this is the first appearance of not only Savage Opress, but on the backside is the first appearance of Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Oh, no way.
So like a lot of people will, you'll see this book, you'll flip it on the backside does say The Last Airbender, Free Comic Book Day. One day we'll be able to show both images. Pick different images. But yeah, this is sold as high as $500 in a 9.8. This was 5 years ago. Now it typically goes for about 180. But these are big brands, so it's kind of like these are. And again, condition is like terrible across the board for these. So if you find a near mint, like don't sell them. And if you get that 9.8 or higher, I say hold on to them because these are good long-term holds. This was another one. This came out only 2020 with the launch of the new series. And you can notice that what's fun about this one is that it's done in the style of the animation.
Yeah.
So this was the only one done in this animated style. So this is, even though it's only a 3-book, it's still a $100 9.8. Again, conditions hard, and Invincible fans are diehard collectors,
becoming ravenous.
And this was only 5 years ago. This was the one that you'll see come back on our list because it features the first cameo appearance of Mr. Negative, and then the first appearance of the first Jackpot. They then changed it to a new Jackpot when it went to, I forget what, it was on our top 10 a couple weeks ago, 566. I forget what issue it is.
So let me ask you real quick. So if it's a first appearance as a free comic book and it's just a reprint of something they're about to launch, is the free comic book the first appearance or is it the actual,
most of these are solo stories. This reprints the first issue.
Right.
But this was a dedicated story, so it's featured right here, all new Spidey adventure. Now the appearance of Mr. Negative it's very dark side-ish, where he just has his face on one TV screen, and it's not how he kind of appeared in the regular series. So it's a very, it's kind of one of those things where it's not really quite a first appearance, but he did appear in it. So it's kind of like people hate the cameo appearance versus first appearance. So whatever you prefer, if it's the first appearance or first cameo, anywho.
Do you mind if I steal the screen for a second?
Yeah, I was just gonna I'll go for it. Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna point out real quick that the cool thing is, like, here's the list again on Cover Price. But if you can filter by key comics, and out of the 40, you can actually see all the ones that are key for whatever reason. And if you just highlight over it, first appearance of Sam I Am.
Left Arrow's like that one because go back to that one. This is the first appearance of Cat in the Hat in comic book form. If you click on the key. It was Cat in the Hat and the Grinch. So the first appearance of these iconic Dr. Seuss characters. So there, will that have some legs long term? Probably. Is it $150 9.8? Probably.
So but I just wanted to call out, you can quickly get to that information if you.
First appearance of Black Mirror. If you guys are Black Mirror fans, I enjoyed half of the new season this year.
I've only gotten through a couple. They're good.
If you watch the Paul Giamatti one, that was my favorite one. That was really well done. It was one of my. I really enjoyed that episode. It was very emotional, if you will.
That's good. It's good and bad. So we're running out of time. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. I'll just go through the rest of just a few more to look out for.
Sure. Let me add you back to the stage real quick.
And here's just some other ones to look forward to or look out for.
Oh, did I? Oh, here you go.
Okay, so yeah, solo leveling is a first appearance of Jinwoo Sun. This is usually a $4 to $20 raw book, 150 in the 9.8. This is Astounding Wolfman. If you find this is the first appearance of the Astounding Wolfman. I don't know if it's maybe not. Oh, I think he appeared in he appeared in something else. But this is usually a pretty good 9.8. Although it looks like the last one was 32, so maybe not. RuneScape, first appearance of RuneScape, another big brand. A lot of these big brands launching in free comic book days. First standard U.S. format of One Piece. This was last year.
Oh, wow.
So if you know any shops that had last year's books around, this is still, even though it's a $50 9.8, these are great books to just tuck away, especially if they're high grade. Batman Beyond. Now, so this wasn't a free comic book day because this was $19.99, but this was a promotional copy where they kind of did the same free comic book day treatment to it, where it's like, that little blank space that they utilized for the free comic book day down.
I remember watching this in elementary school at your place, Matt.
Oh, Batman Beyond's awesome. I that's still one of my top grails is to get a first appearance of the regular issue. Because it's it's really expensive. It's like it's still $1,000. It hit a high of $3,000 in 2021, but it's still $1,000 for a 9.8 for this book. Anywho. And then we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's a lot of free comic book day editions for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but this was 2009, and this version usually goes for $50. 82 is the last 9.8, but the all-time high was 350. So these are all books. These are all books to kind of keep an eye out for. In terms of, there are some books that do go up in value, especially if they're first appearance of some of the, like what you just showed was clicking on those keys. Mm-hmm. If you want to go back and your store has like little extras, go back. Just try to find really high grade copies, and then just tuck it away. Or get it graded and tuck it away. But a lot of these big brands are books that will do something, and then you won't send your kids to college, but it'll be from the price
maybe a crappy college.
Right. But from the cost of free to like the future, especially grading costs $30-$40. That's not a bad return if it sells for 100 150 down the road.
Totally.
Anywho.
All right, well, let's do the giveaway real quick. So first of all, as you guys know, we have a merch shop, and now you can actually see the different colors of the shirts if you're interested in that. But yeah, so we're going to give away a shirt. All you have to do is tell us the logo color that you want: white, black, red, or cyan. The color shirt that you want. And your size. So come to the site. I'll just put this into chat again. And here. And then we will get that to you if you win. And if you just want to buy a cool cover price shirt or sweatshirt or hat, you can do that as well.
And I really enjoy not sending out books anymore. So that's the
Well, we do want to send out more comics, of course. And we're going to do a big giveaway for comic books for kids. And that's literally going to be comic. Yeah. So we're of course we're giving away comic books, but this is kind of fun.
If you want comics back, just say comics, and
you're gonna say comics.
I know, man. We'll do more comics. It's just like I'm so bad at shipping this stuff out. But
yeah, it's one of our talks we always have.
I've been good. Well, we don't have to do it anymore, but
yeah, that's why you've been good. All right, if you're gonna enter #shirt, last chance. And we will get this going in a few seconds.
Did anyone leave out the R? It looks like no one did. So that's
no, good. I saw someone attempt to do it, but it was funny. All right, here we go. And the winner is Bajeroni.
I think Bajeroni won before, right?
I don't know.
Well, it's fine. You could win as many times.
Sounds right. Click.
But I think Bajeroni won a book.
Oh, but now he gets a shirt.
That's right.
Congratulations.
It would be funny if someone kept winning the clothes and they're like went from like shirt, sweater, hat, and like they just come
just keep going. Congratulations. And everyone's so sweet to congratulate him. Yeah, reach out to me, john@coverprice.com, and give me that information and your shipping address.
Yeah, BJ already won the Transformer, a Transformer book. We got a lot of Transformers, but
very nice.
But BJ Ronnie knows the pain of waiting for a book. So but hopefully I sent you some extras.
Righteous Flipper, you're right. We can turn the hat around and do it backwards and be all cool.
Yeah, so I went to Disneyland recently, and I on the rides you don't want to take your hat off, so I go backwards, and my kids did not enjoy that. They're like, you look dumb. You should not do that.
I always think of that Seinfeld episode where George is he's talking to the cool guy, and the cool guy has his hat backwards, and Joe's like, hey, okay. He's just he's like, hey, Tony, you bet, Tony.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining the call and for hanging out with us. The call, I keep too many meetings. Thanks for joining the show. Next week, I'm not sure what the topic's going to be, but it's going to be fun. We are going to do an interview with Mark Weiss, the co-founder of Comic Books for Kids, in a week or two.
Oh, okay.
But
next week, I kind of want to talk about variants, because we had a post which was really interesting where we said, how do you feel about variants? And we had a lot of people give their opinions on variants and how much people hated variants and how there's too many variants. And, it's worth having a discussion around the ecosystem of variants. The good and the bad, how it helps the community, how there are things that will, that tend to suffocate a good series out. There's a lot of, I know a lot of people feel a lot of different ways. There's so many, like we just talked about the V book, right? A lot of people hate that stuff. They hate blind bags. They hate the mystery, and they don't like the gimmick of those things. But it's coming because a lot of people do. I mean, to sell out in 19 seconds 3,000 books, you better believe that the publishers are like eyeing that, because it's such a good, easy way to move product. So that storm's coming.
It's going to be a fun conversation. We should talk about it because, there's the business side of comics too that we don't tend to think about, but it supports the industry, and it's right. For me, I love that side of stuff because it's just interesting, and it's kind of cool to see the amount of money and creativity and IP and stuff like that happens. But yeah, we'll chat about that.
Get some folks on. It would be nice to have a retailer, publisher, and maybe someone else. It would be fun to have Clutch on. We should actually have Clutch on, and then because he worked both on the publishing side of things and as a retailer side of things. Well, so actually, he would be
he's doing the blind bag thing, so we could talk to that. He literally we were talking to him at C2E2 about it. He was like,
he's actually let's hit up Clutch if you're watching. Come on. But yeah, it would be fun to get his perspective on having been on both sides and on how it affects the ecosystem and how it affects him as as a seller. It would be a very interesting deep dive into that little bit
the whole world. And I'm sure a couple nuggets of wisdom will pop out of us somewhere about it.
Yep.
But on that note, guys, thank you so much. You guys make the show, so it's really fun chatting with you and hanging out with you.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
Have a wonderful week and keep those comics covered.
Yeah.